Hello everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Command Mission Beyond Overlord, Carentan Operation. So, we are basically outside of the town, as you can see on the whole line of troops here. Some of them on the right side was brought back. Unfortunately, they couldn't really, they did break through, and I hope that they would stay there, but no, they're pushed back. And this is where all the guys were at the end of the last battle. These guys that I'm clicking right now they did manage to go as close as possible, but there was one defender that was preventing them to rush headlong, and the tanks kinda helped. One tank was destroyed by the panzer with its lucky shot across the river. And yeah, so the job now is to enter into these empty spaces between us and the town. There's some really good cover like brush and wheat field and whatnot, and to enter the town and get some buildings, try to make a bit of a hiding spot as cover. And this is the reinforcement that we got, so it's a pretty substantial 2 tanks and all the assortment of nicely balanced troops. Mortar, and I think we already discovered that we have this 80mm mortar with 100 plus rounds that we are able to bring against the Germans now, so it's going to help us a lot to get them out of the marsh where they were found. Yeah, so this is going to be probably the last reinforcement that is going to receive until the end of operations. Now we're at battle number 7. And this is overview of the whole battlefield. And I'm just trying to surmise or trying to predict where the German is going to be established, German defense. And like the last time, they could be coming from the marsh as well, and all the other spaces between us right now and the town. I don't know where their deployment zone is, but it seems that last time, in the last battle, they really didn't up to hit us right from the start. They were kind of pushed back. I think owing to the fact that they need to maximize their numbers, and if they bring too many men right up front, then it's going to be high likelihood that they'll be overwhelmed. And what I'm going to do right now is to try to get some of these houses on the outskirts of the town and then push deeper, crossing the street and taking even bigger houses. That's going to serve us very well in terms of protection, and also setting up some machine gun nests, and also all the other houses that are there, so that we can kind of skip along these little protective covers. These little places that we can use to cover for each other as one side moves up, and try to be on the lookout for Germans. Of course, it's raining. So these are the areas that are kind of open, so the tanks might come into play. The problem is that we have to cross the right flank, a bit of brush and all that. And once again, a close view of the buildings. They're pretty large, and they offer a lot of different angles from which we can battle the Germans. With a numbers game, so I have no doubt that we're going to fill up the whole town if we so desire, and leave no buildings to the Germans if they're fast enough. So as I'm highlighting, these are all the buildings that we need to take from the first few turns to make our presence known and bolster our claim under the town. We have a lot of machine guns and other heavy armors that we can put at use. And this is a new deployment. It's really, it's really aggressive, because everybody's poised to enter the town as quick as possible with the tanks following. And I do believe that I'm going to use the tanks rather aggressively, both to enter the town if possible or if needed. We have the range and a pretty flat surface to provide some good line of sight. So we can even have a look into the town along the boulevard and roads because they're flat. Yeah, on the right flank as well, we have some tanks. So yeah, I think you've noticed that I also divided up the troops this time into two large groups. These guys are the front battle group that's going to be responsible for taking as many buildings as possible and providing cover and overwatch the later group that's going to arrive to push forward. The right side is going to follow the rail and then try to look for the way to enter into the town to exploit any deficiencies in the defense. Yeah, you can see all the machine guns that is able to kind of cover for us in the initial phase as we cross into the buildings, cross into this sliver of open land as we try to enter the town. And it has pretty good range. This spotter is able to also spot into the town as well, and also there is actually a bridge at the other side of the town, so we can probably concentrate our fire there because I suspect that there will be some Germans coming using that bridge. And also, yeah, a lot of different spotters are available at my disposal. I think around 5 in total. 3 big artillery and 1, I think 76mm mortar, and the US recruit 80mm mortar that's going to bring concentrated and rather saturated fire to what I hope to be a narrow field battle. I don't want to be responsible for destroying all these houses by errant shots, but yeah, I mean, there will be some buildings that will be damaged by all the artillery that's going to be poured into the area. Once again, I'm just trying to repeat the plan that I have in place to enter the town, take the houses initially, and if they're occupied, fight for them, and overwhelm basically the defenses as early as possible, and establish ourselves really strongly into the center of the town, where we can use the buildings as emplacement for machine guns. And as you can see right there, yeah, hot truck appears. So they have deployed rather close to the town as well. And that's going to spur me on to, yeah, to send the troops headlong into Carentan proper. Yeah, so this half track is kind of off balance, I don't know. So it's not going to move rather well. It's going to probably just try to get out of that, I think, in the first few turns. I don't know why they deployed it right there at the top of the hill. Yeah, so other guys are, yeah, we have a lot of troops. There's no doubt we can make use of. And it seems, I mean, it doesn't seem to be occupied. I mean, I guess if they're occupied, they might be hiding, some of these guys, until we come closer, and then they're going to show us some ambush markers and be prepared with their MG42s and their artillery guns and whatnot. But it doesn't seem that there are a lot of Germans inside the town itself. I think they kind of cleared out or something. You know, in reality, they did place a lot of machine guns and other defensive mechanisms or weapons inside the town itself. I mean, that's probably just, you know, par for the course. They're logical, you know, it makes sense to bring the machine guns in places where it's going to be the most protected and going to be easiest to ambush the, you know, Americans trying to infiltrate the town, enter Carentan. But it seems that here they're trying to use a different approach, like trying to make us go or make us enter the town itself and then try to bottle us up, because obviously mobility is going to be affected in the buildings. But we can hold out in the buildings because I don't know how much artillery the Germans have. But yeah, I mean, we are basically using the whole front advance approach. I mean, just going to bring a lot of bodies and see which bodies stick, or I don't know whether that's the correct term, but which bodies are able to infiltrate into the town as much as possible with the artillery support. Some of the artillery, I'm warming them up by just giving them some close arbitrary targets, and then going to move and creep up away from us, of course. Yeah, so it's basically this whole line, broad front, entering and closing in, and the tank is able to make short work on the half track that is perched rather precariously. I mean, it was rather easy target for the Sherman. It's right there. I mean, it's a target practice basically. And this guy comes out, and it seems that half track means that they received some supplies as well, the Germans. And as you can see, the machine gun is able to reach there, so it's pretty long range, in spite of the rain. Yeah, so we are crossing the hedge here. Just any space of land that we are able to use, or scrap of cover that we can use forward our way into Carentan. Even the buildings themselves, we are using that. And yeah, basically there's really no space unfilled, no holes in our advance. This first turn, and yeah, even the artillery is making a pretty brisk appearance. I think that's one of my 80mm mortar that just started firing at the end of the turn 1. Here we are, trying to advance further until we meet the Germans. And the artillery is still aiming and trying to wait. Not really waiting, but they're just trying to bombard this space. I suspect the Germans will be arriving at, because I do see the half track had already arrived or deployed there, so I kind of think and suspect the Germans will be there at the other side of the town, vying for the center of the town as well, just like we are. So that's the line that I believe the Germans will be coming from, and also from that space. I don't know about the right side, but it could very well be there will be some hidden machine guns and guns buying their time. Yeah, so we are using the cover, trying to enter the first building, the first big building that is not damaged. And here is on the right side. I do kind of suspect, I do believe that I placed them a bit too far from the rest of the army group. They're really far away, seems. Just trying to follow the rail and see whether we can make it in. And the mortars are firing at some target. I don't know who, but somehow was able to find some target. And the artillery that's really inaccurate. I don't know whether it is ours or theirs, but yeah, it's kind of inaccurate. And yeah, the mortars and the tanks are firing, but then they're not firing any shells, explosive shells, but smoke to cover our advance. Yeah, so that was why the mortars were firing. There is really no target that they identified. They just want to cover up our advance on all boulevards and angles as much as possible. Yeah, the artillery started firing the heavy ones as well, I think. And I don't know whether this is going to be effective. I might be just misplacing all these artillery rounds. I'm kind of being, I don't know, not arrogant, but kind of a bit too confident that I'll be able to use the artillery rather liberally, because I have many of them, many spotters, like around 5, so I thought that I had plenty to allow for this kind of grandstanding right from the get-go. But I might be, of course, be mistaken and wasting these rounds into destroying like courthouses in Carentan right there in outskirts. Yeah, so it doesn't really change. I mean, the initial advance into town has not really happened yet. I mean, they have not even entered into the town proper, so just trying to keep to the plan, stick to the plan. Yeah, so everybody is crossing, and I do try to take care that the commanding officers and their men are together, so that they'll be able to have better chance of fighting off whatever they're going to come across. Yeah, so artillery is readjusted. That was enough for these two guys, I think. Yeah, this guy's still firing, keeping to it, but adjusting a bit around that rubble. I do feel that, yeah, I need to kind of adjust so that they're not going to be in the range of advancing troops. That's for sure, because I mean, they're not that accurate. Obviously they're closer to the town, but yeah, if the first few turns are any indication, then there'll be some friendly fire if we are not careful. Some of the units are still firing smoke, indicated by the white line, into the main boulevard in the town. So third turn. Yeah, I hear some machine guns, and they're hit, of course. Yeah, ambushed. And open space are caught, and there's some interesting artillery or AA gun flag firing at our exposed troops. So this guy, I don't know whether it's smart to run for the place of firing, maybe they didn't know better, but they're trying to enter into the nearest brush for any cover, and this guy has saved the flag. So to aim it pretty well as we try to cross into open field. Some of them are, running, okay, taking cover. So it's unfortunate they have taken up shop in the marsh where we cannot really reach them. And a lot of these guys, finally, my wish is being granted. Another small hovel of a house being destroyed. I don't know, I have to continue the German or two, but yeah, just coming into early destruction of any cover that the Germans could enter. I don't know whether it's a good thing. It's kind of a scorched earth tactic. But I don't know whether it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. Maybe I'm veering too much from my usual playing style, which is waiting for the enemy to appear, then coming in the artillery. But I had like 5 or 6 artillery spotters, so I mean... But then they had to readjust, making the delay once again to target those newly identified and pretty lethal group of defensive units. I mean, it's only 1 MG and 1 flak done, but still probably still able to inflict a huge amount of attrition upon our advancing left flank. So they're all like stopping, dead in their tracks, trying to hold on to whatever cover that they can, and kind of covering for the rest of the group to move into the town. I don't know whether this area in the north is going to also be brushing with the German defenses and units. As you can see, the wheat field right there, it's been raining some artillery shells, unfortunately. There's some artillery spot on the right side that can expect some German defenses on the right side as well, which is problematic because the enemies can be fighting two fronts while we try to enter with the center most strongest group into the Carentan. And it's not going to be very easy to be flexible, commit our troops to enter and defend the city, while the rest of the group are trying to fight off these guys. We could very well be setting up for, wow, look at that, ricochet, which means that the flak gun is targeting our Sherman, but the Sherman was lucky enough to get out of that. Get out of the range at least for a moment. And this artillery is landing pretty, yeah, that same mortar, German mortar that can pour in hundreds of shots in 2 turns or so. And I think they also bring from the explosion, the sheer force of the explosion, they also bring an additional spotter, the heavy artillery. So yeah, there definitely were influx of some German reinforcements, and including some spotters, which means we're going to go up against some heavy German forces, I think, vying for this town. Yeah, some of these guys are already broken, running and retreating, running back. Of course, there's no order to shoot them for retreating, so we have to just make do with what we have. And these guys are clinging to the wheat field. Unfortunately, doesn't really serve as a good cover. But fortunately, a few of them have escaped already, and only 3 units are the slowest units, including a flamethrower, unfortunately. Still calling the crossfire, still calling the range of the artillery. Yeah, so we are moving, trying to close the gap here as best as possible on the inner track of the rail. And I do suspect there is some Germans, yeah, in the brush or in the, I don't know whether it's north, but I think up is south. So I say around in the southern regions, away from the town or outside the town. Here we are trying to enter. Yeah, still, I mean, the progress is rather slow. I should have just ordered them to move or run, but still sneaking, because who knows, I mean, the Germans might be inside the town. And left side, you're basically deadlocked because of the 2-unit combination. It's wreaking havoc. And the right side, we're ordering some of these guys to ride on the tanks for easy and faster transport. Still trying to smoke, use the smoke to cover any of these guys who are caught. I mean, the smoke could help, I guess, preventing these 2 units on the left side in the marsh from targeting our central group. Oh my goodness, yeah, wow. Yeah, Germans are bringing and then giving us a taste of what they have been suffering for a while from our big artillery. 1 machine gun unit has lost all its men except for 1, so it's immobile. So it has to stay there, like it or not. And fortunately, the artillery does not seem to land after that barrage. So I guess, you know, I mean, it's only 1 round that targeted our that little house. I mean, it was already been heavily damaged from the previous battles. Kind of suspecting the Luftwaffe is active in the air, and it targeted the house of all the things that they could target, like the tanks, for example. So it targeted the house, and we are now without any cover on that side. But finally, yeah, the flag is able to target even here. So it's pretty, yeah, I mean, that's pretty dangerous. They have to make a decisive move to get out of that area, because that wheat field is not going to protect them at all. And this guy is already made into the house. That's good. And look what we have found here. A lone unit for some reason. I don't know why it's just by its own lonesome in the path of our advancing troop there. Maybe it's a scouting party or something. I don't know. But it got caught in the crossfire of a lot of different troops. And other infantry discovered, so they are basing their defense around the marsh, which is pretty good because we cannot get to it or shoot at it rather easily. So this turn, using the middle group to still enter into the town and get as many buildings as possible, and we identify the infantry there. So we need to target it using the heavy machine guns and the like. Fortunately, it's kind of lowland. This marsh is rather low, so we are able to use our machine guns to full use. 500 meters range, I think it's good enough. So, yeah, middle of the town, we are trying to get into these 2 buildings. Some of them are over the right, no Germans in sight. Good news. And here, infantry, we are targeting it just to get it out of our way. And yeah, finally some of these guys are already down the tank, ready to move. Some of the heavy machine guys were rather slow, such as the mortar and the machine gun. So we can support our troops as we make our way from the right side. As you can see, you're finally trying to move and fill up the space with the tanks, trying to support our latest advance. On the wheat field, we are trying to crawl out of the way of the flak gun. So that's that. Yeah, so they have the flak gun and the machine gun in the marsh have a pretty good area. I mean, it's lowland, but still, I mean, they're able to target us pretty well, especially in the open area outside of the town here. So we are really suffering for that oversight, not being able to see. And we have been hit from somewhere from the south side, and this guy is running away and gone. Yeah, so that guy is finally gone. Some lone unit to identify it, but only one man unit or something, at least at most 2 or 3. So it's a crew of some sort, but I don't know exactly what to make of it. Maybe a scouting party. And these guys, as I previously mentioned, is going to crawl out of the way, and Flak lost interest, and instead targeting some other unit, I think. No, actually it's still targeting the lead party of that crawling guys. I don't know what to say. I feel sorry for those guys pinned down by that devastating and very, very quick fire, very quick and timely scattering of the flak rounds. Look at how fast it fires, it's just amazing. And finally, unfortunate Glasgow unit eliminated because of the flak. And now we are facing yet another artillery barrage now in this area with the flamethrower caught in the mix and rather curiously landing close. These guys are all heavy weapons guys, so they're really vulnerable. They're really like soft. I mean, not like in terms of, you know, their metal or their willingness to fight or anything like that, but just the number of men inside the unit. Now these guys are getting out of the tank for some reason. I don't know what happened. Yeah, they're like, I mean, the tank told them to get out or something. Huh. Maybe it ran out of fuel or something. I don't know. Alright, so yeah, we suffered the casualty that we saw, the bazooka man. And I mean, finally we basically headed with the flak and trying to make a break for it in the middle. And there's 2 identified units. I suspect that it's not any ordinary infantry, but something heavier, unfortunately, that was overlooking the area where we finally we first met the German scout. And you can see the tank here is immobile on track. I haven't never seen this before, a tank being caught in the track and being rendered immobile. It broke down on the tracks. Is there any instance that this happened anywhere during the war? I haven't really, I mean, I Google for tank getting caught in the rail and being rendered inoperable. I tried to check for it, but I guess there was there's a case where they couldn't really deal with the, I mean, the normal rail track, but yeah, it just broke. The tank just broke, and that's why the guys top of it had to get out and now have to use their legs to just tag along. I mean, it's not going to really work. Yeah, these guys are now trying to make a break for it. They're just sick and tired of, this flak gun making a laugh or target us like some lined up ducks. And it's been having a field day trying to just, pick up targets. And as you can see, this 2 suspected positions have been revealed to be the German gun. So it's really another obstacle that is going to be very, very hard to get rid of. from any part of dealing with these guns in the history of playing this mission. It's going to be very, very difficult to get rid of these guys. I mean, I have mortars and I have artillery that I can make use of, but it's going to still cause some delay because I need to readjust using the artillery. And now I'm trying to use the tanks to finally get to the infantry, but what I need to do is trying to, oh my goodness, Mark 4. Yeah, Mark 4 has found our tank and now he's actively shooting at it. So yeah, I mean, more and more German forces are converging, and it's not really good news for us, except for these guys who are finally running to the nearest cover and finding no German inside the house they're running to. Yeah, this flank gun finally being pinned, finally, by the machine gun fire. And with the artillery now landing in the area. I think, yeah, the artillery, the guy has a base full of artillery fire, unfortunately. And, okay, so foreign turret penetration means that it's still operable, but it's under strength and it's in a shock status, so it's not going to really, I think it's going to suffer some, like, each battle capability. It's going to probably not be able to shoot as accurate or move as quickly because it's shock status, which means that it's not really, doesn't really know what to do with one of its guys now being, I don't know whether it was gunner or driver. If it's driver, then we are dead in the water. But yeah, if it's basically shock status, it's not going to do anything. It's just shell shock. The ringing from that German round that penetrated their front turret is still present inside the tank, I guess. I don't know. Thankfully, they didn't bail, they didn't abandon the tank, and that's mostly what happens, but I don't know, I don't really feel good about the prospect with the German still targeting, aiming at the tank, so we decide to just fight. I mean, try to make the best of the situation. I think it's hold on position, so you still be able to make there are a couple of different, I think it has a couple of different opportunities to shoot back, but yeah, but I don't know, I don't really feel good about the prospect of that tank now being seriously undermanned or under strength. I mean, they need all 5 men. If you've seen some movies dealing with Germans, they need all 5 men. So we try to make the best of the situation and try to fire back. This guy misses. It seems that the Panzer IV there is a veteran unit because it can shoot a bit faster than us. Yeah, for our shot, one shot they can fire at least 1.5 shots. They shoot once again, and okay, yeah, finally we are trying to get away, try to reverse, but obviously somebody had to take over as a driver or something, and then was able to, quickly abandon that area line of sight. And okay, so the gun is now, the second gun that has not been identified before is taking aim at the, aiming at the gun here at the ricochet, so it's not really that high caliber or powerful gun, but still able to make accurate shots. It's not going to really, it's not really going to end up well for the Sherman like it did right there. So I was able to make one good shot against it, but it's not enough to destroy it. Yeah, so another, this time mortar was knocked out. The Sherman was not able to knock it out, even though it had a really good shot. I mean, one good shot. They had only one chance to do it. And these guys are all veterans, they're gunners, I think, so right after destroying the tank, knocking it out, he was able to aim at the mortar, which is the next highest value target, and then was able to make that its next victim, unfortunately. And I really don't have any answer right now, except for, I guess maybe smoke or something, or artillery aimed at the collision, but still have to wait at least a minute for the artillery to act up. Yeah, so here we are now trying to just run. I mean, we are just using the numbers advantage here and following the German right now inside the building. So these guys are riding across the bridge. And basically vying for the most buildings and then try to use the numbers advantage to overwhelm these guys, at least from the town. And allow the artilleries to take care of things a bit in the outside. And then using the tanks to support our infantry. I lost one already, unfortunately. Yeah, you still have around 8 or 9 tanks to bring into, I guess, kind of semi-urban battle now that Mark IV has been identified. Yeah, it's a really capable tank, and in capable hands it's going to really make it difficult for the opposing tanks. And all these guys, I just cannot really count. I cannot even count. They're all trying to go into the town, overwhelm the German defenses. They really try to beat us in Carentan. Here, yeah, one of the artillery spotter has spent all its round trying to aim at some godforsaken area where there's nothing except for one poor house that was destroyed by it. Yeah, so accelerating things a bit. Yeah, I have had enough of trying to use finer touches to get better positions. I mean, I'm losing units left and right from their artillery and the tanks. Might as well just get into the town and slug it out, which probably was going to play to our strength. And yeah, these guys are running. They're running into the building. Yeah, try to shoot at us. I mean, they cannot get all of us. I think that's another tactic that I can use. And these guys are kind of getting out of the line of sight from their gun. But still shooting enough so that it is pinned. And now the first artillery shells are landing. These guys are also running now. I don't know who that... I think that is our machine gun trying to fire at the mark area. Yeah, so... not a lot of response from the march, which means that we are applying some good pressure, pinning them down. Another half track identified. It was first thought to be a light tank, but it's really a half track, which is good. You're able to destroy it pretty well, even using the infantry supply grenade, and we have a lot of those. Yeah, these Germans are entering the town. I don't know like how many of them are actively inside, but there's a tank, Mark IV. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a huge force, but still, I mean, it's able to well balance between the half-track, man, and tank. And with the corresponding guns firing in, coordination, it's going to probably leave a mark, I think. I mean, trying to buy through a town. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But then if it goes to like full-bore urban battle, or I don't know, what can I say, like battle inside the town itself, then it's going to probably work pretty good for us because of the sheer number of men and body that we have right now outside. I think we've taken already half of the town, so... yeah, here we are just trying to take house by house, building by building, and street by street. And here also we are moving up, finally. These guys are more specialized troops with machine guns and the like. I think we can station some machine guns inside some of the buildings that we captured. And second floor, there's a pretty good shot of supporting the rest of the group through the street. Yeah, so the mortar is trying to aim at the gun along with the rest of the artillery, so I think he's able to target at least one gun there. Still identified and still actively shooting at our guys on the right. So we have a tank and a half track and multiple German units to counter and try to contain before things get out of hand and they set up shop in some heavy building or something. Yeah, so artillery started landing. That's a bit too short. That was good enough. That was good enough to rattle it out and make it a bend in the guns. So one gun down. Good. Yeah, pretty quick response from the Americans. And these guys are being shot at, but yeah, I mean, not really that accurate. And look what we have here. So some panzer guy was, I don't know where he came from, but he was just there trying to ambush our tanks. I guess he was looking at the right flank, trying to ambush the lead column, but instead of tank, got a lot of Americans. Okay, yeah, unfortunately got caught here, right on the middle of the street, so we lost a few men. Then the panzer guy, I don't know, he was pretty quick, I think, if he started from the outside of Carentan. Made its way all across the way only to be captured. I think it made the right decision though. And another artillery. So I think I'm counting around 3 or 4 artillery spotter on the German side, which is really problematic here. So that's like 3 or 4 times that I have encountered different artillery barrage. I think, some of the German spotters are, adjusting also, but definitely have more spotters than before. Yeah, so we are fighting now inside Carentan. As you can see on the left side, I don't know what happened, but I think the artillery got rid of the flak gun. So the flak gun is also good. So 2 guns are destroyed, which is really good. The flak gun was really wrecking a lot of damage on the soft targets. With its high rate of fire and some nice splash damage, it was able to just deter bulk of our left flank troops from advancing it further. Now it's out of the picture. Yeah, so the artillery is now doing what they should have done. I think I should have waited from the start. I think I was a bit too rash in trying to predict where the Germans would be coming from and then let it loose with the artillery shells. I think I should have waited on 5 turns or so. Then I would have made much more. Yeah, I think I have made much more of a difference. Thinking about bringing some artillery, not artillery, the bazookas and also machine guns on the top of the buildings. And trying to crawl out of the way of the remaining gun or artillery barrage that happened on the right flank, and also these guys are going to just stay, and the engineer unit is also staying along with the commanding officer. So these bazookas are trying to get up and have a better vantage point in preparation for that Mark IV that's going to surely be targeting any number of these guys for entrenching in Carentan. Yeah, still not able to get rid of the machine gun, but we are applying some pressure, so nullifying its effect on the rest of the advancing army. We're just trying to focus its attention on that building, trying to shoot back as much as possible, suppressing it. Yeah, so we are moving. Yeah, so the tank is definitely aiming at the building, which is not good for Swedish occupants. You're advancing, still undeterred, and these guys are also, the gun is also taking aim at any further advances from the right flank. And it wasn't actually a Mark IV, it was a Stug 3G. The Stug is, it's more common tank in this part of Normandy. Definitely been the backbone of German armament, German Panzer Corps, I think, and the American side of things. British had to contend with the far heavier, I think, assortment of tanks from the Germans, including the Tigers and Mark IVs, and some Panthers as well. Yeah, so these guys are advancing inside the town and taking aim at the machine gun. The machine gun has been such a useful deterrent for them, for the Germans. Has been such an effective weapon. I mean, just one unit, but it's able to hold out, like, how many units? How many American units from reaching its objective? I mean, from the turn 1, I think it was able to stop the entire left column. And other unit is getting caught here, trying to cross the street, but there's a German unit overseeing it, then got shot, lost some men. And those guys are trying to get out of the artillery, crawling out of the way. Bit of retreat. Finally, the tank has made its way into the town. So I think it's going to serve as a possible opponent for that Stuke 3. Just need to catch it when its whole hull is barrel of the gun is away from it, trying to target some of the soft targets, and then it can opportunistically hit it from the side. And has only probably a few shots before the Stuke 3 is able to shoot back with its accurate shots, and I think it's a veteran tank. Yeah, so it's a lot of crisscrossing of fires. The half track is definitely making things difficult, but we are still advancing a bit further using the smaller houses. And also the Germans are trying to advance their own, so we are able to find some targets as they appear. So we are kind of standing pat for now, trying to engage the Germans and trying to defend our positions. I think that's probably a course to take. The bazookas here, you need to try to save up and conserve bazookas for the next few battles, because I already lost one unit, so it's not going to be good if I lose too many. Really need to use the bazooka units well, because sometimes they're more effective than the Shermans. I'm really not good at controlling the tanks, having a feel for the heavy armor. I did try to conserve the tanks, that's for sure, to try to unleash them in the last couple battles remaining. And now finally this guy gets out of the cover, and the tank is helping right now, trying to fight off from the Germans. Yeah, these guys got injured. I think they're trying to reach the church, which is probably the heaviest structure that they can find. They have two churches in Carentan for some reason, which seems to be one church many, but I mean, Yeah, so the tank is still aiming at the machine gun. Still there, just thorn in our side. And the Stuke 3 is, obviously targeting the soft targets, making things very miserable for the group of guys here. And slowly turning, scanning for any worthy opponent. And these Germans are being shot at from every angle possible. Yeah, finally found a target to his liking, and accurate shot. My goodness. One unit just got exploded outside of the house, so had to run back to the house after it got shook out of the house. Yeah. That's what happens. So these two units are holding up so many of our guys' attention. But finally the last group on the left flank are running into the main street, trying to possibly fight the German inside the church if these guys are not enough. And here we are trying to allow the bazookas to take aim at that Stuke 3 by perching itself on the second floor. The artillery and the mortar is still active. But then that poor mortar is in the target of that Stuke 3, so it has to get out, so I gave it order to crawl out of the way as soon as possible. And the rest of the group is using the woods to evade any notice from the tank. Hopefully it's going to be able to close in without getting caught. There's so many different guys. It's really saturated right now, so just trying to see what happens there. You know, they can still shoot from where they are, but kind of having a wait and see approach here, because you might have to move pretty quickly if things get out of hand. But then I think we can, right now I think we can hold the town because of the sheer number of men. But the problem is how many units I'm going to lose to that tank and other half-track and German units being very aggressive here. Well, we are being pinned by our tension in the marsh with those 2 units soaking up the bullets. Yeah, so tank is, the mortar unit got damaged. Yeah, it never misses. It's a veteran unit. It's the short shot. Okay, so I don't know what happened. Basically, I checked, double checked, triple checked like 10 times. What happened? What penetrated that Sherman's front turret? I couldn't really find it. So only thing I have in terms of explanation as to why that happened is whether there was some kind of an anti-tank mine in the road, or Luftwaffe dropped a bomb on it or something, or there's a bomb that is able to target really accurately. Artillery spotting that was done to destroy the tank, but I don't know what happened. Like, I just can't. Maybe it's a friendly fire too, but there's some mortar landing in that region, so the easiest explanation is that some lucky mortar shot landed on top of the tank and just destroyed it aflame. Yeah, so I lost the tank. That sucks. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that I really couldn't prepare for that. I thought that most of the heavy armaments were out of the way. I could safely enter into Carentan because all the infantry that was there to support it and the cover for it. But it was destroyed, and now I'm trying to get the tanks heck out of that area. Because I don't know, maybe there's more mine. Maybe I should use the engineer unit to, scan for mines or sweep for mines. I have no idea. Yeah, this mysterious tank death syndrome there. Maybe the Carentan has a force build that, triggers the high explosive shells in that tank or something. I don't know. Very weird things are happening. It's almost supernatural. Yeah, so the tank is still alive, so I need to bring some bazookas, and I think this turn is all about that, alongside other things, such as regrouping on the right side, as you can see, sneaking our way into one area before trying once again to overwhelm that position, closing the distance so that we have better way of suppressing it, and maybe bringing a tank or two to destroy it if things get out of hand, even if we bring all the troops there. On the left side, yeah, bringing the rear, we're just pummeling and all in here. Tank death syndrome. Yeah, it's probably contagious. So these guys trying to, still track the tank. That tank is really confident. It's just trying to choose his target, try to inflict maximum damage. Yeah, it's turning once again now. And this guy's running. I don't know, some of those guys kind of veered off to the side. I think I made sure that all these guys ended up on the farthest house there, but finally, yeah, so our bazooka man is taking aim at the Stu. Of course it's short, so we need to do better next time. And this veteran bazooka guy is able to also target from the second story of the building. And some of the troops arrive in the small shed outside the church and is able to fight them in a close battle here. Yeah, so the bazooka is also taking its position, but I don't know why it's running outside. No, I don't think that's a wise choice. Oh my goodness. It's just... wow. I don't know why bazooka guys are so eager to fight. I mean, you know, they have big guns. I guess that's the source of their limitless confidence. But you know, I mean, they're kind of, you know, vulnerable. I mean, if they, yeah, look at that. Once again, another tank knocked out for some reason. I don't know, some godforsaken reason. It's happening. It's happening. Another tank destroyed due to unforeseen circumstance. I don't know. It just, maybe it's a sabotage or something. I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody farted or something really hard inside the tank. And, you know, Shermans have a reputation of being exploding at the slightest touch. So I think that's what triggered the latest explosion there, unfortunately taking out one guy out of 5 crew member. It's really weird, but I'm losing tanks like in a manner that I really didn't expect, and that is really rankling me and you know, grinds my gears, as you say. Yeah, but then we have to make do and still fight, and calling more bazooka guys to fight the Stug. That's the only option that we have with the mysterious, you know, tank that we have been experiencing. Yeah, once again the bazooka is taking aim. I hope for a better result this time around. And yet another hop track arrives, so we have 2 hop tracks. And these guys are just getting the heck out of town. Just get out of the Normandy. Just get out of Normandy. Oh, okay, so finally the machine gun surrenders. That's a good choice. I think it had like only 1 man left. And this bazooka guy is tempting fate. Able to evade the German grenade and also subsequent shots. He's able to get out of the church and crawl his way back to the shed. I think he should stay in the shed first place. And another attempt by the futile and pathetic bazooka man. And one other guy got a face full of dirt, I hope. But it's not going to miss a second time. This tank is not going to miss a second time. Okay, so yeah, finally some progress. But I don't know whether it has knocked out the tank. Did it knock it out? I have no idea. No, it didn't knock it out, but instead it knocks out our bazooka man, so yeah. Poor bazooka guy is pinned up by a brake. And there's second bazooka man on the second story. Trying to destroy the tank. I don't know how many times, I don't know how many rounds that it spent. I think it probably hurled around 20 rounds already. Trying to destroy it, but it was either too short, too far. It penetrated but didn't really phase the panzer, so we're in trouble. This guy has a mystique now, it's an aura about it. Like, it can never be destroyed by the bazooka, it seems. I mean, just has sort of like a, I don't know, some kind of a force field. Yeah, here as you can see we are trying to move up, and now that the machine gun is out of the way, we have left flank is rather open, and we can probably just use that area to barret the troops pretty quickly. And here, yeah, we're grouping and then moving in and closing into that gun, trying to overwhelm. I think there's only 1 gun left there. Yeah, so it's been a pretty interesting battle, and very weird battle too. I mean, it's not too disappointed because I'm taking Carentan and having a, you know, fulfilling the objective, but the way I'm losing and bleeding all these troops, kind of, yeah, leaving a rather, I don't know, kind of getting worried here in the last 2 battles. I mean, next battle is definitely going to be a night battle. Yeah, once again too far. It's just not good enough. It's not really far either too, it's like only 90 meters. Well within the range of its effectiveness. But I just can't do it. From the 2nd floor vantage point, it should be like easy as, you know, taking a, I don't know, candy from a baby or something, but just can't do it. I mean, at least he's able to survive and not be killed off, and give him that. I mean, it actually does a better job of blocking out vehicles now. Yeah, it just knocked out a half track, so there's that. The problem solved there, yeah, so it's good. And these guys don't know what to do, it's like kind of circling around. Finally we are, I think we're sneaking though, we are trying to give the benefit of the doubt to the German gun. We should have ran though. Yeah, these guys are facing multiple shots from the tank, but I don't know, owing to the fact that he's in a heavy building or whether he's lucky. Broken, his mental's broken, but not his body. Still 2-man unit. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, he's just walking down the stairs slowly, shell shock, broken, a shadow of a man. And here once again we face with the mysterious condition of a unit losing 2 men. He lost 2 men and started running, so it's being attacked from somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. Is that the surrendering German machine gun man, like, you know, holding a pistol and taking a pot shot, like, stealthily at the American guy? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a friendly fire. Maybe there's a sniper in the marsh or something, but I have no idea. So if you have any better explanation for that, I don't know. I want to be better prepared for it, so I don't know if you have any better idea or explanation. Yeah, please leave a comment, because I'm basically at wit's end. I did check like 5 or 6 times where the shots may have come from, but I couldn't really find a source. Anyways, yeah, we are moving now a bit quicker, trying to overtake that German gun. So battle now is kind of concentrated into these 2 areas, whether we can take this tank. Okay, so there's some bazooka guy who's able to... Oh my goodness, got face full of explode shell and got eliminated, but he's able to take a tank down with it, so I guess... Oh my goodness. Yeah, so finally the church, the guy in the church is eliminated, can enter the church. And this guy, I really want to eliminate this guy for causing so much trouble, taking like 2 bazooka units away from me. Pretty fast though, he's pretty fast. Yeah, so the tank is out of action. I think that's the end of their panzer involvement in this battle, but we still have the half tank to take care of in the veteran unit. And plenty of ammo, and this, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good try, but we can see you pretty well from way across the town. Using heavy caliber machine guns and whatnot, we're able to target it. But it's being pinned by something, so it's being pinned by some unknown force. And here as well, it means that the gun is actually targeting again. So we need to make sure that we enclose the distance, be fast using troops moving in that direction. Yeah, and then as you can see, we are running there, indicated by the lighter green color. And still taking up the last few houses in Carentan. Running to the nearest cover to try to enclose the distance and attack the gun along with the artillery and mortar. And here I'm trying to take care of some of the guys or kind of remnants of last remaining forces that's trying to still cross the bridge. I think that's anti-tank guys. And also there's that question of how to deal with the half track now that the artillery is gone. I only have mortar and machine gun aiming at it between the buildings. Yeah, so turn 18 I believe. Yeah, so it has been a pretty intense battle. I suffered some casualties, definitely. More than the last battle, yeah, another casualty right there. So we need to really take care of it as fast as possible, unless we want to expose all these troops. Especially the HQ guy, really important unit. Yeah, gets the memo and runs to the building. I think I made him stay inside the building, but he got out or something. I don't know, some overzealous HQ unit. Finally the shots are landing here. We are trying to run and close the distance and overtake it. This guy really deserves a medal for that. Okay, so the gun doesn't miss at all, and he's able to take a man away from this unit, but this guy is able to shoot back at a closer distance, pinning it, and finally basically capturing the guy. Good riddance. So captured like 3 units already, which is a record for any battle that I played in this game. Yeah, so some incoming fire. And the mortar is still, including our mortar, trying to aim at the top track, but they're short. Can't really get a good, this mortar, the enemy mortar is somewhere, but I cannot really see where it is. I think the enemy mortar is in the marsh. He's able to target the tank. But I cannot really believe that they were able to take out 2 tanks in 3 turns using the mortar fire alone. It's just too accurate for them. I mean, for me, it takes around 3 turns to be rather accurate with the mortar as they try to adjust their range and distance. Yeah, I just can't believe that there's a single source of attack that took out those tanks. Yeah, so we are trying to track some of the other unknown targets now that we have cleared this area from the Germans. I mean, these guys gave up pretty easily. There are still 1 man that was able to... There are 2 men that were able to operate the gun, but they got captured anyways. So it means that their morale is rather low. 40 to 50% at most. And maybe you can use that advantage. Use that to our advantage in the following battles, because next battle is going to be night, and if it's still raining, it's going to be a whole different dimensions to what I have to do. And the 50 caliber machine gun is able to take out that half track, so that's pretty good for us. I didn't expect the machine gun at that distance was able to take it out, but 50 caliber is pretty powerful gun, so he's able to take that half track out finally. And pretty accurate too. Granted, the 50 caliber guy was a veteran guy, so he's able to do pretty well. That half track was immobile for some reason. Maybe got caught by the half track that he crashed into. I think tank is, one of them eliminated. The other guy disappears. And this unit is running, but has a better idea and then disappears into the river. Maybe swimming back. And we are trying to walk. And these mysterious units were revealed to be just trucks. I think those trucks were the units that carry the guns and other heavy armament. I think those were the guys responsible for bringing the guns to the battle. So in the final turn, I think we are just attacking some trucks. I mean, if we got to their trucks, it means that they're running low. The Germans are basically running on fumes, I think. So I think they will supply with additional reinforcements in the next battle, or there will be no battle. And we took all of Carentan, so I mean, we just have to defend, and it's going to be further difficult for them because it's going to be night battle and cut line of sight or range by like half. Yeah, so we are just trying to add salt to the wound or something and aiming to destroy their trucks. Yeah, but these trucks are pretty heavy armed too, right? So I think they're like, not as heavy as half tracks, but still able to withstand some gunfire. A nice target for bazooka though. Yeah, so these guys are all running away. We almost captured all of the Carentan buildings. And this guy, I think, was a crew from the half-track, got ambushed. Yeah. The tanker guy is really quick on his feet. He's already like covered hundreds of meters from where his tank was. Yeah, he's able to escape with his life intact. Never going to surrender there. This guy is also moving around. Yeah. This 50 caliber gun is making it hightail it out of here. If it drives, I think it's too slow to get out this turn, which is unfortunate because if it gets out of the map, if it retires from the map, I think it's further lost to their morale column. And we have found another unit here, yeah, new unit across the marsh, far away, so it's not going to be really... Oh, another half track, okay, so another half track appears far away from us, maybe it was trying to attack us from behind or something. But our machine guns are ready, they're really quick. Yeah, pretty attentive, so really nice, despite the rain. Yeah, so there was a battle, there was a costly battle. Okay, so I got our artillery spotter, which is really good. That's really good, yeah. Considering that they have an influx of 2 or 3 more artillery spotters in this battle. Yeah, lost the platoon HQ, didn't notice it during the battle, but yeah, lost the unit. I think he had only 1 man left in the unit. Another artillery spotter, so 2 artillery spotters are out of action for the Germans, which is really good for us. I have not lost artillery spotter yet, so 2 tanks, these are really weird. I mean, these are really weird. I almost loaded the game again to see what happened, because I thought it was just BS, but I decided to go along with it. Maybe just the randomness of battle that happened, maybe the luck buff. I don't know if you can, I think I can hear some planes droning overhead, so it could be a luck buff or some lucky mortar strike. But it was just too bad, and this immobile tank also, I just didn't really notice that before. You can get caught in a rail, maybe it was destroyed rail with twisted metal that kind of got in the tracks or something. I just can't believe that got caught in the rail. I don't know, I just can't believe it. 4 vehicles knocked out too, so that's like 3 Sherman and... Yeah, I think I lost only 3 Sherman. Please don't tell me that the immobile tank is also considered knocked out. Which is going to be very, very disappointing. I mean, it's immobile. It's not destroyed at all. Like, all 5 guys are intact inside the tank, and... Yeah, I'm really disappointed though. But 85 casualties and 20 KIA is probably second most. And now this takes a cake. The good people, Carentan, kicked all of us out from the buildings that we captured and spent so much time and trying to take. So I don't know, is this a bug? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just can't believe this is happening. I checked, and then the immobile tank is considered a loss for us. So 4 tanks down, only 8 tanks left. I mean, it spent so much time and so much effort in trying to record this and take Carentan, and I did most part. It was a really fun experience, but I mean, they kicked all of us out and basically back to 0 from where we started, and now we have to face the conditions of rain and darkness. So I don't know, like I asked you guys if I should be I just don't want to play the night battle. I just want to go all in now that I know that I'll be kicked out once again this battle also, so I just maybe skip it and then go all in the last battle. I don't know what you think about it. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. But yeah, I thought it was a bug, and I went back and tried to do it again, but yeah, just what it is. And I guess just map doesn't expand, and they know that the deployment zone clashes or something because I'm too far into where I'm supposed to be. I don't know, it's just so weird, but that's what happens. So yeah, unfortunately all this effort almost for now, except for that I will have to take in this battle a few of the German archery spotters and half tracks and some more men. So I guess not everything is for naught, but yeah, I was so flabbergasted by this. So yeah, I hope you understand if I want to skip the night battle. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it despite what just happened. Shocking twist that happened here. I hope you enjoyed it regardless, and next time, maybe battle number 9, conclusion of this rather interesting operation. Stay tuned.